We are live.
Hey everyone, welcome to GitPOAP Community Call number 4. Thanks for tuning in. It is good to see everybody here. I'm excited to have this call. Super excited to have Victor here. He's worked on all sorts of things in the Ethereum ecosystem, including a new project that he is working on called ERC-Ref. And we're going to talk all about that in a second. Victor, how are you doing today?
Good, great. Thanks, Kofax. It's happy to be here and GitPOAP community call.
Of course. And I'm joined here by a bunch of other GitPOAP team members. We got Kayla, Nix, Anna, Aldo. And we're also joined by our great friend Theo, who's on the POAP team. Theo, thanks so much for helping out.
Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Happy to be here with you.
Yay. Alrighty, so jumping right in. Today we have a big announcement for a new feature that we just built on GitPOAP. Before I get into that, I will just do a quick overview on what is GitPOAP and what is our purpose here with these community calls. GitPOAP is a platform for issuing badges to offer recognition for different contributions to communities and projects. As GitPOAP exists now, we have built on top of POAP, Proof of Attendance Protocol, and GitHub, so that open source software maintainers can issue POAPs in recognition for meaningful contributions on GitHub, and you can actually issue them automatically based on different mechanisms like pull requests, and we have a bot where you can tag and award things more custom manually. And we've seen a bunch of projects jump on board. We're supporting about 900 or so repos now. And we're excited about all the new use cases too that are enabled by having this on-chain record of contribution, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. And today, the big product feature that we have been spending lots of time on working over the last couple months is what we're calling custom GitPOAPs. So GitPOAP now can be awarded through GitHub. And with custom GitPOAPs, we are excited that you can now create a custom GitPOAP for any specific collaborative effort in your community or your project, and you can award a GitPOAP for that. So you can award GitPOAPs now beyond just what's happening on GitHub, and you can still award them to GitHub users and GitHub usernames. But now what we wanted to do is basically provide a tool that allows you to decide exactly what you want to recognize or what you want to incentivize in your community and offer a token of appreciation for that exact thing. A few details about custom GitPOAPs. We've also added the ability to award a GitPOAP to an email address. So previously you could only specify users on GitHub that could receive a GitPOAP, and now you can actually specify a customized list of people based on either email address, Ethereum address, or GitHub handle. So part of the reason why we decided to build out custom GitPOAPs is we got a lot of feedback from the community around how their software contributors are getting recognized for all the hard work they're doing writing code, but there are so many surrounding contributors to projects that aren't actually just writing code on GitHub, and they aren't earning their recognition. They aren't getting recognized for all the work that they're doing. So we hope that custom GitPOAPs are going to be a good tool for people to use to offer recognition in many different shapes and sizes. A few examples of custom GitPOAPs that we're going to be launching today for GitPOAP itself we're launching, it's kind of funny actually, we are awarding a custom GitPOAP in recognition of everybody that helped us launch the custom GitPOAPs feature on GitPOAP. So I said GitPOAP about 7 times in that sentence, but I hope it all made sense. So we're trying to do a good job of offering recognition to our community and our team. And we firmly believe that if we build a tool that's useful for us internally, it'll be useful for other people as well. So we also call custom GitPOAP CGs. So we're doing a CG launch CG. We're also doing one to recognize the broad group of people that actually helped us launch GitPOAP earlier this year. So if you contributed to GitPOAP at any point earlier this year before we actually launched the company, keep an eye out on GitPOAP for your recognition. Design is a big part of what we do at GitPOAP. So we're going to be awarding a custom GitPOAP to all of our designers. And we're going to have some special ones for designers who have done a lot of designs for us. So really excited to get that one out there. And we've gotten a ton of good feedback, some bug reports from the community, and sat with a lot of the people in the ecosystem to get some ideas for like brainstorming new features for GitPOAP. So we're doing also a custom GitPOAP for anybody who's either given us feedback, reported a bug, or done a brainstorming session with us. So those are a few examples of what we're doing internally. We've partnered with a lot of other people that are existing users of GitPOAP and new users to issue a bunch of custom GitPOAPs today as well. A few examples are Rocket Pool is going to be awarding a GitPOAP for a major release that they're doing pretty soon. Steerium, another staking tool, is doing a various group of GitPOAPs around different people that are reporting feedback and helping out with their testing and things like that. And I'm excited that DXDAO is also doing one based on on-chain contributors to their project. So keep an eye out. We'll be posting a few more details later today, but we hope that this gets your ideas thinking about different ways that you can offer recognition in your community. A quick detail in terms of how you actually award and mint your GitPOAPs. I'll be passing off to Kayla in a second to actually show you a demo of the create screen. But in order to actually mint and get your GitPOAPs that you've been awarded, same exact process. You go to gitpoap.io and you connect your Ethereum account. And if you'll notice in there now, there's a settings section. And there you can actually link your GitHub account, of course, like you've always been able to. You can link your email account. And you see that you have your Ethereum account listed there already. Don't worry, we're not going to make your email account public or anything, but that's basically the way that we can ensure that GitPOAPs are getting to the people who hold the emails that they've been awarded to. So one last thing that I wanted to mention is GitPOAPs are great for offering recognition. And that's really just like a first step. So it's very important to offer recognition, but that's like a first step, like a base layer of now what can be used for a whole bunch of different things. I'm excited to get in a little bit later in the call to chat with Victor about what he has in mind to do with his GitPOAPs. There's so many different things you can do. I'd like to highlight an integration that we announced about a month ago with guild.xyz, which is a great platform for creating gated membership to different platforms and things, and sort of like community management. Another thing that you can do with your GitPOAPs is you can highlight them on your Missouri profile, mazury.xyz. That's kind of like a Web3 version of LinkedIn. So if you're looking for a job, you can go there and sort of highlight all the contributions you've been making. And yeah, even just on its own, like recognition is really valuable. So without further ado, I am going to pass it off to Kayla to demonstrate how to create custom GitPOAPs and a couple more things.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Kayla. I'm the operations lead at GitPOAP. Probably haven't spoken to you all yet, so super excited to be here and share the launch of CGs with you guys. So I am showing you right now our create form. So when you go in and you decide you want to create a custom GitPOAP for yourself, you'll navigate to gitpoap.io/create, and this is the form that will populate for you. So super simple. There's only a few required fields here. You will upload your artwork, so your GitPOAP design here. Underneath, we have the image requirements, which includes the GitPOAP specific template that you'll need to use, our hexagonal shape, as well as our design guide that has some of the technical and aesthetic requirements as well. And then you'll pop in your GitPOAP name here. It can be whatever you'd like it to be, as well as a quick description of the achievement and what you want folks to see that the achievement is representing. And then also you'll list an accomplishment period. So as Colfax has mentioned, these custom GitPOAPs should represent a time-bound effort. And so you can select when you want the achievement to begin and end. So it could be a yearly contribution, or it could be a specific time frame other than that. Then you'll also list your email, which is important because you'll get a confirmation that you've submitted your request to us and your request is in review by the GitPOAP team. And then you will also receive another email stating if your Git POAPs are approved, that they are live and ready to be minted. And if they're not approved, we'll give you a few recommendations as to how to improve your request. And you'll be able to pop back into the site and edit your Git POAP from there. And then lastly, down below is the recipient screen. So this is where you'll add anyone who should be eligible to mint this Git POAP. So you can include a GitHub handle, an email, or an ETH address for any of the recipients that you want to include here. And then as soon as you add them, you can pop them over. And then the trigger for the request to go to the Git POAP team is the create and submit for review button. So super simple, very straightforward. And we're excited to see all of the awesome custom Git POAP requests that come in. So as Colfax mentioned, we have a number of actual Git POAP custom Git POAPs that we are issuing to a lot of our contributors. As you can see, a lot of these really awesome designs that hopefully some of you will be eligible for. But what I'm going to show now is, since we have our lovely guest on the call today, Victor from ERC Ref, I'm just going to quickly show actually awarding him this Git POAP real time. So you'll see that I'm on my Git POAPs page here, and I have the 2022 POAP community call guest pulled up right here. It's approved. I'm going to go in and edit this Git POAP, and I know that I want to add Victor here. And so I am going to, that is not the right link. I'm going to add his email here. And easy as that. Since he's contributed, he's our lovely guest here. I'm going to add him. And now he will be eligible to mint this Git POAP. He will know how thankful we are to have him on the call, and excited to hear more about what he's doing with ERCRF and how that relates.
And it creates like a nice way for you to easily be able to like identify a set of your contributors, and then you can now import them into a custom Git POAP. So we're really excited to see what people do. We've given some examples, but like just think about the way that you want to recognize the contributors in your community and who your most valuable contributors are. And Git POAP is a tool to do that. And if there's any features that you think are missing that we could do to better support you, please feel free to let us know. You can reach out to us on Discord or email, or just come find us on the streets anywhere. So yeah, thanks so much. Sweet. So now I'm excited to jump into what is going on with ERC Ref. Victor, thanks for joining us today. Can you just like give us a quick sort of intro and maybe talk a little bit about your background and how you got involved in the Ethereum ecosystem?
Yeah, sounds good. Actually, I'm very excited to be on this call and then get a chance to chat with Colfax, the great team, and also everyone in this wonderful Git POAP community. I actually also have a slides that I can share if I'm allowed to.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's so excited. So a little bit background, as you said, I contribute to, I work as a software engineer. Let me close my door 1 second. I work as a software engineer of Web 2. In open knowledge, open source world, I kind of have a history of editing Wikipedia, and that's how I got into the sense of, hey, everyone can contribute. We should be open to everything. That's allowing contributions in the spirit. It's wonderful.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what's an example of some of the Wikipedia articles you've contributed to?
Exactly. Actually, now that you say that, I really want to showcase what the there's this exchange in the Europe that when I was digging into, I created the Wikipedia article for them. And then when I created the first line, it was just like one line, but later on, everyone just add on top of it and it becomes a full feature Wikipedia article. And so I can share the link later to the notes. This is a wonderful experience. And just like that is why I really feel for GitPOAP when I heard about this idea. The sense that you really want to help people, and then when other people help you, you really want to show your recognition, and that's exactly why I'm here today to introduce ERC Rev to you, because I think there's a lot. This is as a new project, it has a lot to we can use of help of these people, and also help brainstorming how we can leverage GitPOAP to better recognize and govern. So first of all, I think a quick poll of the audience. I know that a lot of you are on YouTube, so if you can get a type on your chat room on whether you have written a smart contract or whether you have written any backend service, that would be wonderful. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of response here. Cool. I see a lot of people who actually try to write a smart contract and backend. And a lot of times you get this choice that how do you choose between write or save or any other terminology and the structure and schema of them. That question is hard, but we don't care, except we care there is a consistency, right? To begin with, Web 1 service has writer and reader. And Web 2, you allow people to have different writer and reader. Now that you can serve more, and people starting building more, just like you see on people will have integration with Facebook and as SDK, Apple and SDK. In Web3, however, we picture that services would also be replaceable and buildable. Just like a smart contract, we have ERC20, everyone writes to ERC20, everyone reads ERC20, but the service is also provided by a lot of ERCs. There's this famous quote by an Apple commercial, think different when they want to be different. But today we want to feature think open in ERC Rev, because we really want to build a future that everyone can integrate with everyone else. And that's why ERC, I personally contribute to ERC. The value of consensus lies in the consistency. For things that you're probably familiar with, USBs has been a great example how a single interface, a standard, can be used and change our life so much. One other consensus or standard I like to quote always is the container example, right? The container was designed as a standard, was designed for train traffic and carrying, but then it was used in ships. And today people use that to build houses. So once you have a good, widely adopted standard, it has a lot of use cases. So what about ERCs? ERCs stand for Ethereum Request for Comments. But basically, it's the application layer standard of the EIPs. The famous ERCs you probably heard of is ERC20, ERC 721. Some go so far that when you started developing smart contract, you probably heard about ERC 165. But they're no magic. This big names that you see on the media are actually just the agreement about how interface look like. Like in transfer, ERC20 just specified how to transfer things. ERC 721 just to specify how to transfer a particular individual token. Just by doing so, it gives you magic and powers such a big industry. And the market cap, like if you're a number and money counting person, this is how big it has helped build. So if you are a developer, you see a demand and you can't wait to author an ERC, you usually face the problem just like I did. Without adoption, it's useless. But when you are the builder of some smart contract like your application, don't try to reinvent the wheel. If you use an ERC, people can interoperate with you. That's basically the problem. The chicken and egg problem, standardization versus adoption. Here goes the ERC Rev. We try to let the ERC author and its early contributors and helpers who is going to get a GitPOAP to write the first implementations for you. And then so that we solve this chicken and egg problem, hopefully. If you author smart contract, probably heard about OpenZeppelin, which is a great library. People just pull their ERC20 tokens and then boom, they launch a project. It's great. Open Zeppelin is wonderful. They have audited smart contract. They're well documented, well maintained. That's great. But sometimes it's also very hard to get things into it because of that high bar. For ERC, newer ERCs, we hope there is a venue for people to actually create smart contract ready to use with lower standard, like because it's leading edge, it can change. So it will start with ERC contract, just like the blue ones you see in the screen. But also in the future, we hope that we can create convenient web components, snaps for example, MetaMask and the mobile SDK, so that when you author a new ERC, it can help. And then we also hopefully have our own facet to reduce the barrier for any new developers to enter. It takes me a little while to get like girly test eats and other things. So for ERC Ref itself, there's a lot way you can help as a developer or as an author. This is the list. But the reason is we are here today is that we are launching our first community founding contributor GitPOAP. And because we know that contributions comes in many different forms, not just Git pull request, right? You can help with Git visual design. If you are in our Discord channel, which the link is on the bottom left, if you are in that, you will notice that even our logo is missing. We just use a pixel picture. So visual design is what we can help use a handle. Project management, evangelization, community building, donation, using our smart contract, like if you are a developer of any kind. We also look forward to partner with a lot of different teams, like builders, wallets, security audits, the app projects, chain testnets, indexers, and bridge and rollups. And these are what we really want to get help with. Like as a new project, we need a lot of help. And then we don't have a lot of resource to show recognition as well. That's why we really feel that the spirit of GitPOAP is great, because when a project is newly born, the helper actually provides super critical help for the growth of that project. But it's also at that particular time, the project lacks the way to actually kind of give you something back, right? Either reputation, like back in 2014, Vitalik is here in San Francisco Bay Area trying to beg developers to come in and contributing to Ethereum. But back then it was no magic. If you mention someone on Twitter, it's not such a reputation ad. But that's the kind of reputation you really want to get if you help a newly grown new project. And so here we are. We want to govern.
That makes total sense. That's one of the things that I'm really excited about, specifically that, like, GitPOAP as a tool to help bootstrap new projects and initiatives, and being able to help people that are starting projects to offer recognition, sort of encourage people to get involved. And then that's exactly why we enjoy hosting these community calls, is highlighting projects like this to give you an opportunity to showcase what you're working on, and then having this be a place where contributors can come to learn about these things. So very much on the same page. I totally agree with you. Sorry to interrupt. Keep on going.
No, it resonates. Yeah, and that's why like we bounce so much immediately when we see each other, like in this idea of soliciting, harnessing, and recognizing contributors are so important. And yeah, and exactly the same thing, like we also want to build ERC Ref as an open contributor community. We want to recognize a lot of people. We want to make it super, super open so everyone are actually empowered to contribute. Being a contributor community, we want it to be of, by, and for contributors for sure. And also we want to think about our governance. For example, each ERCs hopefully can be self-governed by the authors and contributors, particularly by that ERC. All these ideas about structures and governance and self-sovereignty is great on paper. It cannot be put in practice unless there's some kind of toolings and abilities to help out and to support such proposal. And that's also why I personally feel super, super excited about the launch of customized GitPOAP, because to begin with, you need to have some way to recognize people but also by having on-chain representation that can be read and that can be written and read from on-chain, it actually helps us establish on-chain governance, in paves the way for that. And that's why. So I hope that use the rest of 10 minutes to brainstorm with this community how we can actually use GitPOAP in our ERC Rev community, because I can start with a few ideas. For example, if you are a developer finding it very hard to get test ETH, today you have options, right? You can either run your POW for Gurley and a bunch of other things, or you can also sell your email address and then get some 0.2 Ethereum. You can also post a tweet on, for example, like Paradigm faucets or other things. Like you can use your social, serving as a social recognition, social authentication to kind of get TSDs. But we really want to reduce the barrier for contributors. Like we hope that contributors should be able to get TSE super easy, and voting and special discount channel membership, that would all be ideas. Like we have great hosts here, happy to brainstorm with you. I'm gonna pause here and hear thoughts.
Yeah, this is a cool idea. I saw a tweet a couple of weeks ago. So getting testnet ETH is hard to do, and the reason why it is, truthfully, is kind of annoying, to be honest. A lot of people think that there's a value, like a monetary value to testnet ETH, so they hoard it. And there really isn't. The whole point of testnet ETH is for it to be able to be used as a tool so you can test your applications. And so this is really kind of like a spam and Sybil resistance problem, I guess, some on each side, spam and Sybil resistance. And truthfully, honest people that want to just honestly test their applications are having trouble getting testnet ETH because of all these other people that are just trying to spam and sort of get as much as they can. The tweet that I saw was that somebody mentioned anybody who holds a GitPOAP should never have to be wanting for testnet ETH. Like there should be a way that once you're proven to be a valuable contributor to the ecosystem, you should be able to get access to that testnet ETH. So I wonder, that's something that we should actually just set up a testnet faucet or a testnet ETH faucet that can be gated by certain GitPOAPs, so that people contributing to ERC Ref or a couple other projects, maybe that are like proven to be valuable, like in the Ethereum ecosystem, can automatically get testnet ETH. Do you think that would be a good idea?
Yeah, I think that would be a wonderful idea. On the ETHREF, ERC Ref side, I'm also thinking of launching our own kind of donated-based file faucet where you can actually donate your test ETH into it to get a GitPOAP recognizing that you're a test ETH donor. But by doing that, we kind of getting an inflow of test ETH, and then we can distribute it back to our holders who contribute in various forms, setting a quota so that it doesn't get abused, things like that. And it's gonna be a fun reference and implementation of ERC20 and the ERC 5, 6, 7, 9 minting and burning. It's gonna be fun, yeah.
Nice. That's a really cool idea. Keep me posted on how that goes. We're happy to help and sort of strategize on that one.
Yeah.
Very cool. Another thing that you have mentioned here, on-chain voting with GitPOAP. Like ERC20 token governance obviously has been very useful for many projects, but there's something like just voting purely with like token holdings is, I don't think like really provides like a great full picture. And then also just like engaging with your token holders. I'm really excited because a lot of projects have talked about, including ERC Ref, about the idea of using GitPOAPs as a voting mechanism. And I'm really excited that our snapshot integration just got completed yesterday. Is that right, Nix?
Yep.
So now you can use any POAP, including all GitPOAPs, to create votes on snapshot. So a guide on that or a video in the coming sort of days or weeks to to highlight that integration. Super excited. Working with those folks was a lot of fun too. But now you can use Snapshot just like you would for many other governance things for ERC20 tokens. But now you can use Snapshot with GitPOAPs as well. Do you plan on doing some sort of like governance voting through GitPOAPs or ERC ref, Victor?
Yeah, this is one on our roadmap. We really want to kind of use our contributions as a weight or as a gating to vote, because we believe that a contributor community should actually exercise and govern in the form of contributions and recognizing contributions. So yeah, we do. I'm happy that you just get integrated. Is that also? Are we launching 2 features today? It just happened to.
I guess so. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I was super excited to see that. It wasn't intentional to be announced today, but since the integration just went live yesterday, we've been working on it for the last couple of months, and I'm really excited. So yeah, you're getting all the alpha here on this call.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm also very happy for whoever watched this live, just happened to get a bonus. Steve Jobs famously do this like, but wait, is that but wait or one more thing? Yeah, that's the one more thing part of this.
One more thing. One more thing. I don't think we have any more things, but maybe more will come out soon. Can you think of an example? Something that you would want in the ERC ref project to put up a vote to the community contributors?
Definitely, yeah. There's a ongoing discussion today about what open source licenses should we use, and then whether we should make it a universal across the entire ERC refs, or should we allow self-sovereignty in different ERC submissions for their own to choose their own open source license. Decision like this, right? I just agree with you that it doesn't make too much sense for people who buy token with money to vote, right? They might care about the monetary return for any projects. And by the way, ERC ref doesn't meant to be any like for-profit projects, but what we really care is people who contribute in a certain way. They should have a say. They need to have a say to vote to make such decisions. And if they don't feel they own such decisions, it's hard to motivate them to contribute for one, and it's also kind of demoralizing it. So once we allow people to kind of exercise their opinions based on contributions, recognizing by GitPOAP, it's going to be super powerful, in my opinion, to motivate people, to give them the sense of ownership.
Yeah, you hit on a really good point there, like a sense of ownership over a project. And it's not necessarily like monetary value ownership, which a lot of people think like that's one aspect, but really like ownership and like governance and like being able to have like input and contribute to like the direction of that project, I think is really important. And like, especially with token governance, we conflate the two. So like these tokens, even if they're meant to be like valueless governance tokens, I mean, they can get added to a decentralized exchange and then they end up having some sort of value, whether you like it or not. Whereas like tokens of contribution, so like tokens that represent contribution, which that's what GitPOAPs are. They're NFTs that are representing your contributions, like inherently don't have any direct valuable. They're not fungible. Like I guess in a set, like for given users that did the same thing, I guess they're somewhat similar, but like they're not the same way that a classic like governance token is. And it also gives you the opportunity to give more weight, say, based on like more meaningful contribution versus like something that's sort of like a more low-hanging fruit contribution. And the best part is you can do all this without, it doesn't like cost any money to like, you don't need to like pay somebody for their contribution. You basically give them this sort of this power, this governance power, and ability to voice their perspectives on the project without having to like raise money or be a for-profit project, which I think is super cool.
Exactly. I feel philosophically, I think the governance power is most expensive to a project, but also cheapest to a project. It's cheapest because you don't need any extra external resources in order to give it to people. Like you don't have to raise fund, you don't have to get other assets. But it's also most expensive one because you basically putting trust, sharing ownership of that project with the people. You better share it with good intended, people with that, and then contributors. To me, are the best fit of such the sharing the ownership with.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I like the way you put that. Like, it's a very valuable thing to give out, but you can give it out without having to put a lot of money into like the system for governance. Yeah.
Right.
That's super cool. Nice. Anybody else have any thoughts or anything specifically related to, I guess, like use cases for either ERC ref or other projects? Something that comes to mind for me is, I mentioned the guild integration earlier, but what you could even simply do is you could create I see we have the Discord link here for ERC ref. You could create like a gated verified contributor channel on your Discord based on everybody who's already earned a GitPOAP. And you could use that, or even like specific GitPOAPs, like if you wanted to create one like for the founding team or something, and it's gated on there. So it's nice because anybody who earns that GitPOAP will automatically be able to be added. But you can also make sure that you can have like a targeted discussion with a certain set of people. So that's like another sort of more utility-based usage once you've actually issued your GitPOAPs.
Yeah, I kind of want to, I echo that too. Gated features are very helpful in many cases, and then GitPOAP just paved the way for allowing those features to be gated, and that's helpful. And yeah, and also like welcome everyone to the conversation, because Kovacs and I, we just like meet in Starbucks last week, and we keep talking. Like if it wasn't time, we probably can talk on and on and on, because we share so much value, visions, and passion about GitPOAP in general. We love to kind of wait and for other people to chime in if you have ideas.
Definitely, yeah. It was fun meeting you last week in San Francisco. I'm glad that we made that happen.
Yeah.
A thought keeps coming to mind, so I'm curious to just like take a step back for a second and higher level. So you're involved with ERC ref, obviously, and you're also involved in the EIP process as well a little bit, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about your, like, sort of, I guess, like, I imagine that working on ERC ref. So first of all, what's the difference between an ERC and an EIP? And how did you like come to, did you get excited about ERC ref as a result of like being involved in the EIP process? Or can you just talk a little bit more about that?
That's totally true. Yes. I got into the idea that we need a ERC ref because that my effort trying to contribute and authoring and editing EIPs. So first of all, to answer your question, if people are confused by the EIP versus ERC, I laugh because that's what that's a problem in general. And it's a legit problem, legit question. If you dig into the EIP editors meeting earlier today, like 1 hour before our call, we're actually debating whether we need to call it ERCs or EIP. So even the core of the conversation is happening, debating this. You can go to the Ethereum Cat Herders YouTube channel to watch today's call. So basically, ERC is one type of EIPs. The whole EIPs have 3 different categories, which is standard track, meta track, and informational track. And the standard track is what people usually use to kind of coordinate different implementations in different layers. Standard track has 4 different track individual ones. There is a core that's a consolidate how EVMs were written, how EVMs work together. There's another one called network, an upper layer called interface, which is more of a JSON RPC and network interface specific specific level. And on top of it is the application layer where we usually denote with ERCs. So the reason you always hear about ERC 20, ERC 721 is because that's what is closest to everyday usage because it's application level. So think of ERC, the short answer is ERC is one type of EIP. And the reason I want to create an ERC ref is because in other layers, you usually have a stronger, more technical kind of developer community, and they don't mess around because you need to kind of have core implementation. For example, if you want to have a core EIP being finalized, it has to get adoption from like Go ETH and other Ethereum nodes. Their representation have to implement it before it can be considered final. But ERCs at the application layer is much more flexible, and they can people can propose a lot of ERCs without being used. So the reason I want to have a ERC ref is that authors usually get puzzled how to get them adopted, and then users had very hard time finding valuable ERCs, and also finding it hard to implement ERCs, even if the ERC is very valuable. And that's why ERC Ref was trying to solve this chicken and egg problem, where authors can provide a working reference implementations to the public, and for people to start leveraging and hopefully drive the adoptions. But coming back to the high-level question of why we think about governance and other things is because there's a lot of debate within EIP. Basically any non-dictatorial community, organizations need debate, need different opinions, and then that's a healthy kind of source of information and decision process. But then when it comes to making the cut, we hope that a better government honors who contribute, and that's why we're thinking about using GitPOAP and other on-chain representations that represents people's accumulative contributions and potential future contributions. You see it in the human society, but it's still a big gap on-chain community. Today, most of the governance only honored money buying type of contribution, and we think there's a whole lot more that can be solved. And then I'm so happy to have to see GitPOAP being an ecosystem industry player to fill that big and valuable gap. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with that vision. I appreciate all that you shared about EAPs, ERCs, the difference, and and on top of that, the need for governance around something like ERCs. I think it's really important. I do think it'll be valuable going forward for this be a good pillar for people to be able to build and iterate on different ways that we can have more standardization in terms of building on Ethereum. So awesome. Well, I know it took us on a bit of a tangent there. We have about 5 or so minutes left. Are there any, I don't know if you had any more slides you wanted to go through, or I have a couple other questions that I want to close with, but oh, amazing.
Yeah, that's what I left here. So if you want to help, join our Discord channel, join our GitHub, start putting pull requests, but not only pull requests. The whole point is that there's so many different ways that you can help out. So yeah, I'm just closing there, and thanks, and passing it back to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When
I guess
you're ready, I'm going to stop sharing.
Great.
Perfect. Victor, one last question I wanted to ask you. So I understand I go to the Discord as a good next step if I want to get involved. Can you give me an example? So you gave a bunch of examples, you need testnet ETH, you want people to actually create more ERC reference implementations. If somebody was interested in listening today, what is the biggest need for ERC ref? If I've got all my free time and I want to do something, what should I go start doing right now?
Yeah, I think the first thing you can do with ERC ref is that using it. We just put on our first ERC representation for a commit interface using block number interface. And then you can give it a try. For example, if you want to avoid people front running your smart contract user for getting your wonderful NFTs, then you can make them commit for a time gap. This has already been implemented in ENS when people registering their in ENS domain name, that they don't want people to front run them. But then I think you can also start writing implementations of different ERCs, be creative. For example, you can have different vesting schedules of Ethereum ERC20. And that has Open Zapling is not going to write one for you. You can, but if the community create one, that can be shared and used by other people. So be creative of how those ERCs can be used. ERCs are interfaces. They just help you check, just like the container example I gave you, right? The container has size and different kind of interface specified. We call for the contributors to think about ways you can deal with using these interface. What's the creative way you can use of a consent container? Like house is one of example. Just that's a metaphor, but think of different ways. Look for the draft and existing ERCs and think of creative way to implement them, and then share with other people how much you love your own implementation, and then why it's useful, and then be adopted.
Awesome. That's really helpful. I hope people that watch this will be inspired to get involved, start using ERCs, and start writing more ERCs. Like, I truly think it's going to be valuable as this project grows, and I think it'll be a great place for, just furthering the development on top of Ethereum and standardizing and experimenting with more things. So cool. Well, Victor, thank you so much for sharing so much about ERC ref, concepts of recognition, governance, etc. We're excited to support you with GitPOAPs. And it's great getting to know you in person too last week, and definitely let's keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you, CoFast. Thank you, Team GitPOAP.
Maybe we can feature you in another community call in about a year, and you can give us an update on how much ERC ref has taken off and how people are using it in the future.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
Sweet. So now we are going to transition into what some people might be here for. Very excited. The POAP distribution for this call. We have a very special POAP for this community call to celebrate not only Victor's sharing ERC ref, but also celebrate our custom GitPOAP launch. So in order to mint this POAP for this call, you can go to a link that we are going to drop in the YouTube chat, as well as the Discord chat. Today we're using Rev, that's rev.gg for our POAP distribution. And so what you can do there is you can go and create, so click on the link, connect to your Ethereum wallet, and then it'll go through a few different steps to be able to mint your POAP. I'm actually going to go give it a shot myself right now, because I want to make sure I get it. I was hosting some other community call a while back, and I never actually minted the POAP for being on the call, and everyone's like, you weren't there. And I was like, I promise I was. Good stuff. So I click the link. It takes me, I connect the Ethereum account. Awesome. And then I need to add a wallet address. Perfect. And I'm claiming right now. POAP, or it didn't happen. I just got sent a message. Fio, you are right.
Colfax, did it ask you for a password? I
don't believe it did for me, but let me see if I actually minted it.
It did. I did see you mint it. I'm watching the counter.
Oh, I might have typed in a password. The password, what is the password today, Nix?
The password is custom GitPOAPs. All lowercase, no spaces. That's CUSTOMGITPOAPS.
Awesome. So when you're prompted with the password, I did type that in. I see it here. Custom GitPOAPs, lowercase, no spaces.
Great. I see a few other people claiming now.
Amazing.
Can you put it in
awesome.
the chat? I can kind of spell it right.
Oh, yes.
We'll send it to you. Don't put it in the chat. Oh, that works.
Yeah, just the Zoom chat.
The password, so somebody asked for it again. It's custom GitPOAPs. That's CUSTOMGITPOAPS. Custom GitPOAPs.
Awesome. And we'll leave the claim window open for a little bit, but we're going to shut it down at the end of the call, just because we want to make sure that the people that were actually here at the call and learning about ERC ref and custom GitPOAPs get it. So while people are minting, we are going to continue this community call series. We won't always have big, exciting product announcements. We'll mostly be featuring projects that we're supporting with GitPOAP, hearing about what they're working on and what they are doing coming forward and how you can get involved. We have one scheduled for early December. We're probably we want to keep a consistent cadence as well as time, but we're working on scheduling around people's schedules. We're going to have our next one at the beginning of December sometime. We'll announce that shortly. And just keep an eye on our Twitter for the future calls. And if you also want either for your project to be onboarded to GitPOAP or start using custom GitPOAPs, head on over to gitpoap.io and you can click the Start Issuing GitPOAPs button. And if you want to be featured on the community call, reach out to us at team@gitpoap.io and we'll get you slotted in on our calendar. So we are just really excited. We have a lot of exciting guests coming up already in the pipeline. So I'm really excited to see and just like learn more about different projects and how people are using GitPOAPs. How's the minting going? It looks like a couple other people are minting, so this is good.
Yep. I love this this live feature at RevGG where you can see it minting as it happens.
Yeah, this is so cool. Which page are you looking at?
I think I'm looking at my creator page.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can see how many total claims there are, how many eligible claims there are, and how many are actually minted. So I can see when they create the claim, and I can see when they actually mint it.
Nice. Good stuff. Well, does anybody have any closing questions or anything else you want to share? Alrighty, well, I think that's a wrap for community call number 4. Thanks again, Victor, for joining. Everybody enjoy creating custom GitPOAPs. We'll be posting a sort of a how-to guide and stuff shortly. And yeah, if there's anything we can do to help out, jump onto our Discord. It's gitpoap.io/Discord. And excited to see what everybody does. And we'll see you at the next community call in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everyone.